Welcome back to Wake Up America. I'm Alex Kramer. Let's take a look at today's business headlines. And for a little help with that, let's welcome in Executive Vice President of the Commonwealth Foundation and fellow at the Independent Women's Forum, Jennifer Stefano, and business and market analyst and Newsmax contributor, Seth Denson. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning, Alex.
All right, guys, after an early surge yesterday, the markets finished in the red, and that was in reaction to the new CPI reports and inflation at its highest level since 1981. S&P and NASDAQ also falling for the third straight day. All right, Seth, now futures are up this morning, but is there anything to be encouraged about right now?
Sure. I'll be a little bit of a glass half full kind of guy. I'm looking at the core inflation numbers, and they were up, but they were up lower than what the expectations were. Core inflation is effectively when you look at inflation numbers and you pull out food and energy. So you're just you're blending everything else besides food and energy. I like to call it the figure skating scoring, right? You throw out the highest and the lowest scores. Well, that's what we look at when we look at core inflation. That was up to 6.5%. That's only 0.3%. It's still up, but a lot of economists are saying that's a signal that we could be seeing the peak to inflation.
Speaking of inflation, may have consumers rethinking whether they need that used car. Putting on the brakes on fourth quarter sales after the selling price of automobiles nearly surged 40% over the year. Jen, will this create a further backlog to the supply chain problem?
Well, I think, look, you're going to have to eventually see the prices of cars come down. This is a historic high for cars. But I find when inflation gets this high, there are two key behavioral changes that impact two different industries. The first is people stop eating out, and it impacts the restaurant industry. And they're just trying to recover from COVID, and also voting patterns. This is the type of inflation where Americans stop voting for Democrats. So this is going to be devastating to both those businesses.
Yeah, well, the high car prices, the high gas prices, now people are looking at other types of transportation. Electric cars, I mean, that's another option, but they're extremely expensive. And now some people are even turning to electric scooters. Seth, I know I've seen them all over Nashville. Are you seeing this trend in Texas when you travel or anywhere else?
Yeah, I am, and God help us, because people get on these things that have no business being on these things. But yeah, no, I mean, you're seeing right now there's over 85,000 electric scooters in over 100 cities across the U.S. Vespas, for example, Vespas have seen their sales go up dramatically. But to Jen's point on the used cars, this is my encouragement to consumers out there. Be taking care of the car you have. Oil changes. Make sure it's in good running order. I've been trying to get my car into the shop now. It's over 2 months. And I still can't get it in the shop. Mechanics are overloaded. They're having a hard time getting parts. Look for alternative ways, but make sure you take care of what you got.
Yeah, that's fantastic advice, Seth. All right, Jennifer, alternatives also in the food market, as Beyond Meat had a big day yesterday. But unfortunately, the same cannot be said for baby food, which is obviously extremely vital, as some of the biggest U.S. retailers are now rationing baby formula. Of course, a shortage is now prompting stores to impose purchase limits to the strain that's on the limited supply. Jen, is this going to cause some tantrums? I mean, this is a big deal.
The last thing I think any sitting administration would want is worried hysterical mothers. Look, there are about 25 million kids ages 0 to 4 years old. About half them are going to be at the age where they would be using infant formula, and only about 25% of our children in America are breastfed. So you have a large number of mothers, millions of mothers, who are beside themselves, and rightly so. Now, this goes to that there was some tainted baby formula and there had to be a recall, but generally this does speak to supply chain issues, and it's very concerning when it hits our babies. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's extremely concerning. Guys, I want to end on kind of a fun note, like I like to do. You've heard of McMansions. Well, how about the Marky Mark Mega Mansion? Mark Wahlberg's amenity-loaded Beverly Hills compound can be yours for just a cheap $88 million. I mean, this thing has a golf course. It's got a basketball. I mean, I've looked at this thing inside and out. I don't think I can afford it. But Seth, is this a good investment?
Listen, if you got that kind of money, I don't think you're looking at this as an investment. I think you're looking at this as fun. Good investment would be go buy starter homes, find a way to rental properties. Spending $88 million on a house, I don't think you're worried about the overall investment returns.
Yeah.
So no, I would not look at this.
Yeah. Jennifer, your thoughts quickly?
Yeah, look, I'm bougie. Where's the pickleball court? And only 12 bathrooms? Please.
I need 13.
Yeah, we're not even reaching oligarch level luxury, please. No.
All right, guys.
And no California taxes.
Always fun. Jennifer Stefano, Seth Denson, thank you for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having us.
All right, everyone, one last piece of business. Do not forget to download the Newsmax app. Do what millions have already done. Take us with you everywhere you go. You're watching Wake Up America right here on Newsmax.